It is I, Tauby the Art Detective, coming to you from the Tauby Museum of Art. And today, friends, we have a very special segment because today we're going to be meeting a very special specialist. And this specialist is Mr. Eric Fitzpatrick. Yes, he is an artist, okay? All right, I'm going to bring him in now. Hello.
Hello, Tauby. How are you?
Just fine. How are you?
I'm well, thank you. How about you?
I'm well, thank you. Listen, I'm so glad you could join us today. This is so exciting.
I'm so glad to be with you.
Well, wonderful, wonderful. Look, you like your accent.
Thank you very much.
Okay, listen. Hey, you're an artist, yes?
Yeah.
Oh, this is wonderful. Listen, Mr. Fitzpatrick, how did you learn to be an artist?
Well, I started when I was very young, and I started doodling. And I started making things, and my parents were smart enough to encourage me, and they always had paper and pencil ready for me. When I was ready to draw, I could draw. And that's how it started.
Oh, that is fantastic. That's wonderful. Oh, wow. Okay, now listen. We're in your studio today, yes?
Yes.
Could we take a little look around?
I would love to show you around.
Is there some of your artwork behind you?
Yes, there's some of the artwork behind me. And also, I'm going to show you some drawings after this. These are paintings. But I'm going to switch around the camera right now and show you some drawings that I think you'll enjoy very much.
Oh, my goodness.
Aren't those neat? There's a baseball game.
Wow.
Look at the picture. He's just thrown a curveball, and it's coming into the batter. And look, the guy knows it's a strike already. The umpire's calling strike two. And then we have a guy.
Mr. Eric Fitzpatrick, have you ever played the baseball before?
I haven't played baseball. And I'll show you a picture later of me as a ball boy for the Police Athletic League. So that was neat. And then here we have some musicians. There are lots of different things going on in the studio. And here we have a preacher. So yes, there are plenty of things going on here in the studio right now. And I want to show you something else too. And that is...
Oh, look at you. You have a hat.
I have many hats. I have a hat collection that I'm going to show you today.
Oh, I love the hats. These are great.
This is my Ranger hat. But would you like to see some more of the studio?
I would love to. I would love to see more, please.
Let's see it. I'm going to turn this camera around again.
Okay.
And then we will pan around the studio a little bit as we go.
Oh, my goodness. Your studio is so big.
Isn't it wonderful? I'm so lucky to have such a studio. And I'll run you in to the pastel station first. We're going to come back there and do a little pastel later, but look at those colors. Aren't they wonderful colors?
Oh, you know what? We have been studying a lot about the colors and the shapes and the lines. So this is wonderful. Now, listen, are pastels like the chalk?
They are. They're like chalks that you draw on the sidewalk with. When you make squares and numbers and you play hopscotch, this is just a bigger, better version of those same chalks. So yes, pastels are chalks.
Oh, fantastic. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so I'm going to take you over here now. Look at those stools. Those are from a donut shop in Blacksburg.
Oh, my goodness. I love donuts.
So do I, especially Krispy Kreme.
Yes.
So here we are in front of the drawings, and I wanted to show you a couple of special drawings.
Oh,
right now, I'll show you one of the moonlight, and then I'll show you one of this preacher. Isn't he neat? And there's a choir behind him. He has a lot of personality. I just wanted to draw him.
Now, Mr. Fitzpatrick, do you draw these when you're there, or do you draw from a photograph?
That's a great question, Tauby. I draw them right there live, and that's why it's so exciting to sketch in person. So I'll do that, or I'll go, say, to the Salem Fair.
Oh, the fair is lots of fun.
Oh, the fair is so much light and so much action and noise, and it's a great place to sketch.
Now, are you drawing these with the marker?
I do. This is with magic marker. It's a Sharpie is what it's called.
Now, Nathan, don't you make a mistake?
Yes, I do, but I don't worry about my mistakes. I just keep on drawing. And I start with really faint lines. You can see here, this rodeo guy, look at all the faint lines behind him. They're sort of ghost lines, I call them. And they're done with markers that are almost worn out. So I come back and have darker markers that become the more important part of the drawing. But don't worry about mistakes. They should just keep drawing. So,
fantastic, yes.
Yeah, so many of the paintings come with a sketch first to figure out where I'm going. It's really hard to paint unless you have a road map of where you're headed. And the sketch is the road map. So you see this sketch. Now remember that image because we're going to go up here.
Okay.
And now we're going to see the painting.
Oh my goodness, it's a painting now.
It is. Isn't that fun though?
Wow, you do so much. You do the drawings, you do the pastels, and you do the painting. What kind of painting is this?
This is watercolor painting. And look at that beautiful sunset. I know your viewers out there have been with a sunset before and love the colors. That's a great thing to paint if you get the chance.
Oh, yeah. So using lots of oranges and some purples.
Yes, exactly. It's all about color. Here's one in the fog. And Tauby, I have another hat on.
Oh, look at you. You have a beret. This is from the France.
Actually, this is more of a chef's hat.
Oh, look. Hey, listen. I did a segment not long ago where we did the cooking and the art, and we made some soto.
Oh, fantastic.
And I wore my chef's hat.
Well done, then. Good for you. Now, I'm going to take you over to the watercolor table, and we're going to see a watercolor coming along, right?
Oh, this is so exciting. Yes, please.
Okay. Here we go. Let me switch again. And we're going to head over here to the watercolor table.
You have lots of different sections in your studio for different works.
I do. And right here, if you look at that drawing, that's the Roanoke River down at the Parkway Bridge. And that's the big dam right there, and it's overflowing where you see all the white. And so the drawing came first, and then there's the painting from the drawing.
There's the painting. Oh, wow.
So it makes sense, doesn't it?
It does. I like all your colors that you used.
Thank you. And speaking of the colors, there is the palette for the watercolors right there. Isn't that a nice palette?
Oh, that's beautiful. You got it set up like the rainbow.
I do, and it's all in a color wheel, so you know exactly where everything's going to be, and it's really easier to figure out like that.
So now listen, when you use a color wheel, you're able to see the primary colors, and then you're able to see complementary colors, yes?
Exactly, and I used some of those complementaries. We'll go back here for 1 second to look at this painting, because it's a good example of complementary colors. And again, we're talking about opposite colors on the color wheel when we're talking complementary. So look at that yellow against that purple. It's a yellow-green, but it's close enough to yellow that they really react to each other because they're complete opposites. So if you want to make somebody's eye dance, you put those opposites right next to each other.
Oh, that's fantastic. So it's really good to use the complementary colors so that it stands out.
It's a nice way to go. And Tauby, wait a minute. I think I've got another hat on.
Oh, my goodness. You're a cowboy now.
Hey, I'm a cowboy. Hey, you know how to wear a hat? You put them on like that, and then you have to, and then get a little style. Yes, exactly. You're doing it. You're doing it.
Fantastic, fantastic. You collect the hats too. I love it. I love it.
I have many more. I'll show you in a second.
You know what? Right now. You would be a very good detective because you could do lots of disguises.
I think you're right. That's a good point, Tauby. Okay, we're going to switch the camera again. And we're going to go over to another part of the studio. And we're going to look at pastels.
Oh, fantastic.
Yes. And the pastels are right here. And I'm going to zoom in so you can see some of these pastels. These are of the Nutcracker, Tauby.
Oh, my goodness. I love to play the Nutcracker. Wait a minute. Is that the Mr. Pedro?
It is Mr. Pedro. He's right there.
Oh my goodness, Mr. Pedro's one of my very special specialists from the Southwest Virginia Ballet.
He's a really nice guy. He let me come and sketch the rehearsals, and I want to show you some of the sketches too. Now, here's another one of the Mouse King. Isn't that neat?
Oh, that's beautiful.
Yeah, I'm going to show you the sketches too, though. Hold one second. I've got a sketchbook here that I think will show you what I was doing. So if we flip that again. Oh, my gracious.
Look at your Jingle Bell hats.
It's another great hat, isn't it?
Yes.
So anyway, when I go sketch, I will take a sketch pad with me, as we saw across the room there.
Yes.
There are some sketches coming along. And look at the Mouse King. The Mouse King is there.
So listen, when you're there, you have to watch everybody, what they're doing, and you have to draw very fast, yes?
You have to be so quick, Tauby. You cannot delay. You just have to draw like crazy.
Oh, look at that. You use the lines to make the ballerinas.
Yes. And look here. This is the big sled. And keep that in mind, because we're going to see when we go back to that pastel in a minute of the Mouse King, we'll see that sled again. And then keep these guys in mind. These are the guys that sweep up the snow. You know, there's a snow scene in the Nutcracker, and somebody has to sweep up the snow. And so I've done a pastel of them too. So keep all these in mind when we get there. And then that's the stage, so I can remember the colors of it.
Yeah, I love how you're using the line and the color and the shapes to make the suggestions, but there's not a lot of detail. You're just trying to get it all down, yeah?
And that's an important point. I don't think detail is important, but I think the feeling of it is very important. So this hopefully gets the feeling, and so does this of the ballerinas dancing.
And you know what I love too? Mr. Pedro has been teaching us about the motion in the art. And so you're capturing the motion.
Exactly. That's what you're trying to do. And I'll show you that in pastel here in a second. But I think it's very important to catch that motion. And I'll throw you back to the pastels here as we switch the camera one more time. And you can see just now, remember the Mouse King we saw on the sketch pad?
You know, I think I would be a very good Mouse King.
Yeah. So anyway, there's the Mouse King, and there's the sled. You remember the sketches were just lines?
Yeah.
And now you sort of fill it out and flesh it out, and it becomes very special. And I love, my favorite part is these ballerinas over in the wings there. There's no detail, but there's lots of color, and it says something about the blinding light that they were in and the wings there. I really like that a lot.
And you're using the complementary colors again.
Yes, exactly. Good for you, Tauby. You're right on it. And, you know, there's that scene we were talking about where they have snow.
Yes.
And see the ballerinas down there in the midst of the snow.
That's beautiful.
And Tauby, here's an artist that you know sketching them.
How does you? You did a self-portrait.
I did. Good for you. And
that's wonderful. Do you do that a lot? Do you put yourself in a lot of your drawings?
I do sometimes, not always, but it's fun to do. And look at the cameraman.
How do you do that? How do you put yourself in it if you can't see yourself?
That's really hard to do. A lot of times I use a mirror. With this angle, you can't use a mirror. So I held my cell phone out behind myself and took a couple of shots so I could sort of see what I would look like from the back.
Oh, wonderful. That's a good idea.
Yeah. So anyway, we talked about the snow coming down. Well, what happens to the snow?
Oh, the guys are cleaning it up. Look at that.
Yes. They're the guys. They're got to clean it all up so they can take it up and put it up in the rafters again and let it fall all over again.
You know, sometimes you don't think about all the stuff that goes on behind the scenes.
It's true. Mr. Pedro knows all that stuff, but I had never seen it before. But look over in the wings again. We have the ballerinas and no detail, just color. And
but
light.
You know they're there because you're using the shapes and the colors.
Exactly. And then there was a party scene that started off the whole Nutcracker, and there is the party scene. Isn't that cool?
Oh, that's wonderful. They did some dancing too in the party.
Yes, exactly. And then I'll show you a couple more over here, pastels. We'll go over and see these. This is of a man and a woman playing chess. And I want to show you again how the sketch is done. Excuse me, let me get the screen down a little bit.
Okay.
Wait a minute, I need another hat, don't I?
Yeah.
Okay. Now I'm ready for you.
Yes, I love it.
What do you think?
That's a colonial hat, yes.
From Colonial Williamsburg.
Wonderful.
So anyway, I wanted to show you this sketch. Again, sketches can be so simple. This was the sketch of the people playing chess in that room. So look at that sketch, and I'll flip the camera again, and you can see how it turned out. It's so simple. So look, there it is.
Wow. And it looks just like what you drew.
Yeah, and Tauby, you were talking about complementary colors. Look at that red and that green.
That's fantastic.
Yeah, isn't that neat, though? So I thought that turned out very well. And I'll show you another one right here that's even more playful. These were also done. I love that
you're using the dark paper and these really bright pastels. It really jumps off the page.
It really makes it jump, doesn't it? In a nice way, Tauby. I agree.
So we could do that too. If we have some black construction paper and we use the chalk on it, it could really jump out at us, I guess.
That might be perfect.
Because usually you think of using the white paper and the colors, but it looks different when you use a dark piece of paper.
I think it's much easier when you have a dark piece of paper. In fact, most pastel artists use dark paper. That's just what we do.
Oh, so wonderful.
We'll come back over here and we'll flip it around, and I'll show you a bit about pastel. Hold 1 second, and we'll flip the camera one more time, and I will put on a real artist beret.
Fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, and then I will show you a little bit as we're looking at the drawing board there. Let me get a little bit further away there. And we'll see the pastel station, and you can see what happens when you do a very quick. Now, first we put on a glove because you don't want pastel to get into any skin. This keeps it clean, but what we do is make very quick strokes. Now, drawing is about gesture, as we talked about before. You just need a quick movement. And so you want a very quick gesture, like this will be the head. That'll be the person right there. Maybe your arms up like that. And we'll draw her torso. Once we have that line, that's the main thing going on. That's the whole shooting match, really, is just to get that one line. So we can add things to it. Her tutu might go out like this. Her leg will be down, and she's on point. The other leg might be going back like that. And then we fill in. And we sort of alter it. Nothing that you put down the first time has to be right. In fact, it's usually a mistake. So you don't worry about it. Just keep going.
You're using the lines. You're just using lines very quickly.
Exactly.
And so making some general shapes like circles and some squares.
Exactly. And you don't want a detail. You just want big shapes, quick line. That's the way.
And you're using the squiggles for the tutu. I love it.
Yeah, good squiggles. And then we'll give her a black bit of hair. She's going to be a brunette. We'll give her hair right here. And then we'll give her a bun up there, because a lot of times ballerinas have their hair up. We'll throw a shadow right there, and you can see that very quickly you could have a figure there. It's that easy to do drawing if you don't worry about the detail.
Oh, listen, look it. I made my arm too.
It's perfect. Magnifique. C'est magnifique, Tauby. Well done, my friend. So that's about it for the tour, I guess, except there's one more hat that's pretty serious I need to show you.
Okay.
Yep.
Oh, that's fantastic. A wizard's
hat. Good hat, isn't it?
But it's wonderful because you know what? You're a very special specialist with lots of magical artistic talents.
Thank you, Tauby. I really appreciate that. And you didn't even know the camera could zoom like this, did you?
No, that's great.
Yeah, I think it is too.
Hello, Mr. Eric Fitzpatrick. Thank you so much for being with us today. We so enjoy having you.
It's been my pleasure, Tauby. Come back anytime.
I will do that. I will look forward to seeing you next time. And friends, I hope you enjoyed being with us today. We hope you join us next time. Have a great day.